Hello fish fools, Jeff here. So this is my 3.5 gallon Neocaridina shrimp and wild guppy and endler hybrid tank. And what the hell is that noise? That noise is this battery powered air pump. So consider this a continuation of my previous video, because I just did an unboxing video of a package I received from Aquarium Co-Op, and in that package I received this USB air pump. And from what I've seen from other videos, this is super quiet compared to this that is super loud. I mean, this is definitely useful. It's battery powered. I'll try to show you. Just uses, I mean, it's 2D batteries, but it actually can run with just one. But what sucks about it is it's super loud. I've used this on this tank when I just had an air stone, so for a little while, every once in a while I would have a air stone over in this corner. But this little 3.5 gallon tank kit has this interior filter, kind of like a hang on the back filter, except it's just on the inside. But then I just noticed last night that the filter wasn't working, and with that I have this this sponge right here that I use as an intake sponge on that filter, but now that's just gonna be a sponge filter in this tank where I have a air stone inside. So it's just running like that, and hopefully that will be enough to sustain this tank. Although if that's not, I'm gonna have to figure something else out. So I did notice, I don't know how long that filter wasn't working, because I mean it was really weak anyway. It would be just a little slight water flow coming out of it, but that was enough to maintain this little aquarium. Though it's super stocked and loaded with all these guppies now that these guppy and endler hybrids that had a bunch of babies, and there's tons of shrimp in here. But whenever I would do water changes, maybe every other water change, I'd test the water and it always checked out fine. But then I noticed the water was kind of cloudy, and it was kind of stinky. And then that's when I realized that the filter stopped working. So then I tested the water, and it was an ammonia spike. And there's the ammonia test strip that I use is pretty dark green, like dangerously bad. So I just changed the water, almost all of it, down to like less than an inch, and that's why I put this the air stone in this the sponge that was on the intake, and then hopefully with the circulation, it'll be able to filter and convert the ammonia to nitrates to nitrates. So how long it'll take to essentially recycle, I guess. I'm going to have to watch this every day, and if necessary, I'm just going to have to do massive water changes. You know, not that it's that massive, but, you know, in relation to the, you know, the percentage of water of the tank to change. You know, it's 3.5 gallons. But with that, I'm figuring that spike that just happened because, I mean, the fish do still appear to be okay, and I scoured the tank. I didn't see any losses. I didn't see any dead bodies anywhere. You know, the males are still, you know, like just perverts like guppies are, chasing the females all over the place, and the shrimp seem okay too. So, you know, hopefully I caught it in time before, you know, before it was a real disaster. But yeah, so now, you know, I'm glad I have this, because this tank is just going to run on an air pump filter with a sponge filter instead of the, you know, that motorized filter there. So I'm going to set this up. So stand by. All right. So much better. So much quieter. Look at that. It's like no noise at all from that. And I think that's just enough airflow to filter this tank with that sponge. All right, I'm pleased. Glad to, you know, I'm glad, I mean, the timing was just right that to receive that today. And, you know, it has this clip thing. Just clip it on there. That's very useful. All right, so let's check out the fishies. So these are guppy and endler hybrids. A lime green endler and lime green endler male and a female wild guppy, and there was a female that was a guppy and endler hybrid in here. That's what I started with. Those 3 fish in this tank. Those 2 females were virgins, and now they got a bunch of fish in here. So I'm trying to find the lime green endler male. There, is that it? Yes, that's it right there. So that was the male that fathered all of these fish. And more and more continue to color up as they grow. A lot of the males kind of look like the lime green endler, but they have those dots like the wild guppies have. That one's like more guppy-ish, more like a guppy tail. But yeah, some of these are pretty cool looking. Like these guys coloring up, kind of looking like cobra endlers. All right, so got to make use of that USB air pump right away, and I'm going to make use of something else. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that. Another thing that I just got from that Aquarium Co-Op order, and I'll show you. Alright, so here we are at my 29-gallon sailfin molly and swordtail community tank. This is the latest tank that I've set up. And this is one of the things I got from my Aquarium Co-Op order. Sera Veggie Tablets. So these fish are going to be the first ones to try these. So I'm going to stick one in. So hold on a moment, because I'm going to stick it in, then dry my hands, and then we'll continue. Alright, there we go. So what's cool about those tabs, they just press them against the glass and they stick, and then the fish can peck at it like this. Cool stuff. And check this out. In that bag right there, there's some cherry shrimp, some Neocaridina shrimp. So, I was planning on bringing some shrimp over and adding them to this tank. And while I was changing the water in that 3.5 gallon tank, I dumped out the water out of that interior filter, and all these shrimp were in it. So I figured they were going to be the ones that were going to come over to this tank. So this is going to be interesting to see how this goes, because when I have moved cherry shrimp from that 3.5 gallon tank to other tanks, the other tanks I brought them to had lots of cover with Java moss and all kinds of plants. So this one, by comparison, is a lot less plants. I mean, they might be able to find refuge up here in the water sprite, but let's see how these will do. So I'm going to let those out. All right, I'm going to do that in return, so stand by. So I let the shrimp out. There was 7 or 8 shrimp in that bag. I tried to, after letting them out, looking around the tank, I can't find any, so they're hiding pretty good. And in that time, these fish have devoured that veggie tab, that veggie tab. That's all that's left of it right there. There's one of the molly fry, one of 2 that are still around, and I think they're big enough that they're comfortable swimming around more, or at least it's doing it while the fish were occupied by that tablet. And it just got chased up there. Oh, there's a shrimp right there by the mystery snail. So looking at the mystery snail up close, if I can get to focus properly, I guess they have eyes. There's a little eye right there. At least that's what it looks like. In my mind, those are eyes. I didn't know snails had eyes. I mean, aside from this, mystery snails, I've only had, tiny, like bladder snails, or biggest snails I had were narite snails. Alright, well, good to see. I'm glad I was able to find a shrimp. Yeah, alright. Well, that's it for now. And remember, I'm Jeff, and I enjoy fishies. Thanks for watching.